Rain had stopped just minutes before the annual Elite Motors Gala began, an event where millionaires flaunted their rare vehicles, and investors bragged about their fortunes. The parking attendants worked silently under the glow of golden chandeliers and roaring laughter, moving cars worth more than their lifetimes. Among them was Aaron Vale, a man who barely spoke. Grease marked his knuckles, and his uniform hung loose on his broad shoulders. No one at the gala knew who he was, and that's how he preferred it. They didn't know that 3 years ago, he was an engineer, a designer, the mind behind the Falcon 67, the same legendary car model that was now being showcased as the event's centerpiece. But life had its way of breaking even the strongest engines. After his company went bankrupt due to a corrupt partner, Aaron lost everything: his job, his patents, even his name in the industry. All that remained was his knowledge and silence. That night, as luxury filled the air and laughter echoed across the marble floor, Victoria Langford arrived, the CEO of Langford Automotives, a woman known for her ruthless perfection and cold beauty. Every man turned his head as she stepped out in a glittering silver gown, her heels clicking like a metronome of control. She tossed her car keys, a vintage Falcon 67, toward Aaron without even looking at him. "Careful, parking boy. That car's worth more than your life." Her words sliced like glass, but Aaron caught the keys smoothly, lowering his gaze. "I'll treat it better than mine," he replied quietly. The crowd applauded as Victoria's car became the night's highlight, the only Falcon 67 still in perfect condition, restored with precision. What no one realized was that it was Aaron's own blueprint that made it possible. Hours later, when the show was nearly over, Victoria prepared to leave. Dozens of guests surrounded her car, waiting to see the legendary engine roar. But when she turned the key, nothing. The engine sputtered and died. Again. And again. Laughter rippled through the crowd. "Guess the Queen's car is as cold as her heart," someone joked. Her jaw tightened. She tried again, but the car refused to start. That's when Aaron stepped forward, wiping his hands on a rag. "Mind if I try?" Victoria's head snapped up, irritation flaring. "You? A parking attendant? Do you even know what you're touching?" He met her eyes for the first time that night, steady, calm, unafraid. "Better than you think." The crowd laughed, enjoying the tension. Victoria crossed her arms. "Fine," she said, smirking. "Start the classic car, and I'll kiss you in front of the crowd." The challenge hung in the air. Cameras turned. Someone whistled. But Aaron only nodded. He stepped closer, gently lifted the hood, and within seconds, his fingers found the problem: a loose distributor wire, a common mistake for those who didn't understand the machine's heart. He adjusted it, tightened a bolt, and without a word, turned the key. The engine roared to life. The crowd gasped. Phones shot up, capturing every angle. Victoria froze, her mouth slightly open. Aaron stepped back, the faintest hint of a smile on his face. "Guess it's running now," he said softly. The crowd began to chant, half-jokingly, "Kiss him! Kiss him!" Victoria's cheeks flushed crimson. She didn't expect to be cornered, but in that moment, something in her eyes softened. She walked forward, heels echoing in the silence, until she was inches from him. And then, before the entire crowd, she kissed him. But what shocked her most was that her heart actually skipped a beat. The video went viral the next morning. "CEO kisses parking attendant after losing bet," screamed the headlines. Victoria was furious, but beneath the anger, she couldn't stop thinking about that calm, steady man who never seemed shaken, even under thousands of eyes. She summoned him to her office a week later. He arrived, wearing the same uniform. She tried to hide her curiosity behind her polished demeanor. "You made me a laughingstock," she said coldly. "I fixed your car," he replied evenly. "Don't get smart with me." "No, ma'am. I already did that. 3 years ago." That caught her off guard. "What do you mean?" He reached into his pocket and slid a small, worn-out sketch across her desk, the original blueprint for the Falcon 67 engine, signed with his name, Aaron Vale. Her eyes widened. She remembered now. His name was once whispered in the automotive world, the man who built engines that breathed. But rumors said he disappeared after his partner stole his work and sold it to her company. The silence between them stretched. Then he spoke quietly. "You bought what wasn't his to sell." Victoria's breath caught. Her father had handled the deal before he passed away. She had no idea it was stolen work. "I didn't know," she whispered. "I believe you," Aaron said. "You didn't need to. I never wanted revenge." "Then why did you take that job?" "Because I still love what I build. Even if the world forgot my name." Something in her chest cracked open. For years she'd chased perfection, power, control, but here stood a man who'd lost everything and still spoke without bitterness. Days later, Victoria called a press conference. Standing before cameras, she made a public statement. The Falcon 67 was not solely the work of Langford Automotives. Its true creator is Aaron Vale. Gasps erupted. Reporters flooded the stage. And when the spotlight found Aaron, he stood at the edge of the room, his eyes humble, his heart heavy. She walked over, reached for his hand, and said softly enough for him to hear. "I meant what I said the first night. Start the car." He smiled faintly, turned the key, the engine purred like new. She leaned in, this time not out of pride or dare, and kissed him again, under a different kind of applause. The crowd roared. But behind it all, there was something deeper, a quiet redemption.